Carley McCord alongside Matt Moscona for ESPN Baton Rouge here pregame Texas A&M versus LSU tonight in Tiger Stadium. Matt, lots of rumors swirling this week about Les Miles potentially coaching his last game tonight in Tiger Stadium, but other reports have come out recently that could not be the case. What are you thinking the latest is, and what do you expect of tonight because of it?
This has been the weirdest day that I've covered on the LSU beat, bar none, of the Les Miles era. The only close second would be 2007 SEC Championship game, the Have a Great Day. It started, Carley, with almost an absolute certainty that Les Miles would be replaced, and LSU most likely would replace him with Jimbo Fisher. He was their number one target. Over the last 8 hours or so, that's changed dramatically. There were reports that any potential deal with Jimbo Fisher has fallen apart. There are rumors about who might be next. There are some that think maybe Les might be safe now because Jimbo has allegedly fallen apart. Jimbo Fisher has denied interest in the job. It has been the most dramatic change of a major story that I can ever remember, certainly at LSU. And I'm not sure in college football we've seen something quite like this, maybe ever, certainly in a very long time.
Speaking of dramatic, regardless of if these rumors would have started swirling this week or not, the headlines probably would have been around the fact that John Chavis is returning to Tiger Stadium tonight. Now he's defensive coordinator at Texas A&M. What do you think that you think there's going to be any motivation there because of his returning?
It's interesting because I think both sides could play up that angle. I think John Chavis could play up an angle where he felt disrespected by LSU because of his contract talks. On the flip side, I think LSU, the coaches and players, have a legitimate gripe with John Chavis, who had clearly checked out before the bowl game. He had been talking to Kevin Sumlin. He didn't come back to Baton Rouge, remember, with the team. He got on a plane from Nashville and went to College Station. So if you're an LSU coach or player, you also have a little extra motivation feeling slighted. Now, when you translate that to the game tonight, John Chavis has made Texas A&M's defense much better. They were 106 in the country last year in total defense. They're somewhere in the 40s this year. Not great, but a far cry from where they were. But their run defense is atrocious. LSU should have an opportunity to exploit that tonight with their offensive line and Leonard Fournette.
Speaking of Leonard Fournette, he's been kind of non-existent in the past 3 games, last 3 losses that LSU has had. What do you think we see from him tonight in his final game of this regular season? Well,
with little more than 100 yards tonight, Leonard Fournette can break Charles Alexander's LSU single-season rushing record of 1686. So that's something to keep an eye on in what mostly has been sort of a lost season and a lost night that people will and should celebrate tonight if Leonard does break that record, which has stood since 1977. As far as what to expect from Leonard, I expect him to play hard and run hard. Really, it's up to the offensive line to get a push in the trenches, which they haven't the last 3 weeks.
Both of these teams don't really have much to play for. What do you think their motivating factor is tonight, other than the fact that it's senior night for the LSU Tigers?
I'm really interested in the atmosphere tonight. I think this is going to be fascinating, and it's really tough to peg. The Arkansas game coming off an Alabama loss, you knew that was going to be a letdown factor for LSU. We've just seen it time and time again. You'd think the same tonight, but with all of the speculation surrounding Les Miles and the fact that it's senior night and the fact that some LSU fans really look at A&M as a rival, I'm very curious to see maybe if we don't get sort of the us against the world mentality from LSU fans tonight, and if the team doesn't feed off that. But ultimately, the key is for LSU to score first. This offense cannot play from behind. We've seen it the last 3 weeks. Get a lead, play with a lead. They control the tempo. If LSU gets behind, it's a recipe for failure. But if they get a lead early, keep the crowd in it. Could be a fun night.
All right, Texas A&M versus LSU tonight in Tiger Stadium. I'm Carley McCord and Matt Moscona for ESPN Baton Rouge.